What's going on, everyone? Chemcoop here, back with week 9 of APA Ascension League. Sorry for no upload last week. So I was supposed to play my opponent on Sunday, which is the deadline for us to play every week. We had a time scheduled, and I saw they were online. I contacted them. I was like, "Yo, let's go ahead and play. Just tag me on Discord whenever you're ready to start." And they're like, "Okay, I'll do that." And then I saw them on the Draft Frontier Showdown server. They were playing some other games, watching some other games, and then they went offline and they never messaged me back. And yeah, so I ended up getting a 3-0 forfeit as per APA rules. So going into this week, I am at 5-2 with a plus 20 differential, I think. So currently sitting in third place in the league, in good position to make playoffs / get the first round bye. So definitely happy with where I'm at, and need to keep trying to pick up wins to try and secure that good finish going into playoffs. Anyway, so we're heading into week 8 here. I think I'm going to say week 9. We're heading into week 8 here. And we're playing Erob and the Portland Ferrothorns. So Erob had a bit of a rough start to his season, but has definitely been picking up a lot of momentum. He's on a good winning streak after making some changes to the team. Yeah, I don't remember all of his trades, but I think he picked up Mega Sableye and dropped his previous Mega. I don't remember what it was, but he's been going on a tear with Mega Sableye, so we're going to try to avoid being the latest victims of that Sableye. Anyways, I'll go ahead and get into our team real quick. So basically, I was kind of leaning towards him bringing something like Latios, Cobalion, Florges, Sableye, Gothitelle for sure, and then maybe a Miltank, maybe Roserade, maybe Entei. I didn't really see Jolteon coming. I could see Doublade coming, definitely not Ninjask. So really it was pretty much, he had 11 Pokemon, I could see 9 of them possibly coming, so that's what I kind of prepped for. I prepped for everything not named Jolteon and Ninjask pretty much. Was a bit lighter, I think, on the prep for Roserade, because I kind of figured something like Miltank or Florges would probably come over Roserade, but we do have some measures for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this started off. So our first Pokemon, we got Mega Diancie here, as usual. Rocking 3 attacks plus Psych Up. So Moonblast hits his team super hard. And stuff like Miltank, Mega Sableye, obviously, Cobalion, Latios are just going to get popped by the Moonblast. Earth Power is really there to make sure we have much higher damage output versus stuff like Cobalion, Entei, and Doublade if we need to hit it. And Psyshock really is there just for Roserade. We can kill that thing. Since Roserade has really good Spit F, but not such good physical defense, Psyshock is going to hit it super hard. And the reason we're running Psych Up here is I've noticed my opponent really likes to run stuff like Calm Mind Florges or Calm Mind Mega Sableye. So in the event that one of those guys gets set up, we can bring in Diancie here, Psych Up, copy their boosts. They're no longer going to be able to kill us, especially because stuff like Florges does not learn Psyshock. So yeah, we can copy all of their Calm Mind boosts, and then Psyshock is just going to blow away a Calm Minded up Florges, and obviously Mega Sableye is not going to take on Moonblast Mega Diancie. It's just too powerful. But yeah, no crazy spreads this week. My opponent has some really good speed tiers that kind of match up well against me. I mean, you have stuff like Latios that is also hitting the 110 base speed. Stuff like Roserade that hits the 90 base speed benchmark, so I pretty much have to run max speed on stuff like the Meloetta, as you can see, and the Moltres as well. So yeah, most of my spreads pretty much going to be max speed just to try and match my opponent's possible speed tiers. As you can see, our second Pokemon, Meloetta, racking 3 attacks, Calm Mind. This just basically gives me another check to Sableye. As you can see, I'm packing Therium Z with a Dazzling Gleam, just in case something like Scarf, HP Steel, Gothitelle, which I do expect to come, manages to trap my Mega Diancie because my Mega Diancie is so good against my opponent's team. If he ends up trapping it and killing it, I do need a backup way to try and beat Calm Mind Mega Sableye. And yeah, Therium Meloetta is going to be able to do that. It also has a pretty good matchup. Means Calm Mind Psyshock is going to bot Florges. After Calm Mind, Latios is also not really going to be able to touch us. Same for Jolteon, Roserade, those sorts of Pokemon. The real big problem with this is that I'm pretty much walled by Doublade, and Cobalion outspeeds if it's packing Z, like Z Close Combat, as you can see on that he has that option on his team builder. That's gonna just rock my Meloetta because I can't outspeed it, so that's kind of problematic. But you know, we have other ways of checking stuff like Cobalion and Entei. Yeah, I definitely debated on this a bit. So my original build, I was running Z Shadow Ball just because it does do a pretty healthy chunk to Mega Sableye, as well as just being able to put a lot of pressure on stuff like Entei on switch in, Cobalion on switch in, and just being able to OHKO to Blade at +1, even if it's max Spit F. But ultimately ended up switching back to Fairyum Z, just because I felt like being able to hit Sableye would be a little bit better. Our third Pokemon here, we got Quagsire rocking the Shed Shell. Really, Quagsire is super important for me to be able to check stuff like Entei and Cobalion. Granted, Entei could be something like Z Solar Beam, mixed Z Solar Beam Entei, just to try and bot my Quag. But really, I don't want this thing getting trapped by Gothitelle with like Energy Ball. So I'm packing the Shed Shell so that I can switch out. If it is Scarf Gothitelle, I can switch out into something that's advantageous against an Energy Ball. So something like Moltres can come in, get off Defog, or just fire off a Flamethrower, depending on what I really need at that point in the game. We're rocking enough HP and defense to take Jolly Cobalion Z Close Combat into regular Close Combat. Yeah, and then just Earthquake just kind of hits everything on this team pretty well. Toxic, I figured it'd be nice if we're facing off against like Florges or Miltank. We're going to want that Toxic. And then Haze, just in case he does have something that's boosting a lot. I can use my Unaware to take a hit, get rid of the Calm Mind boost or something like that. Yeah, so that's our Quag. Our fourth Pokemon, rocking up with the Firebird. Great Pokemon. Obviously, like I said, you have to run max speed to try and outspeed the Roserade. Or to try and speed tie the Roserade, rather. Since that could be a problem Pokemon. Sludge Bomb is going to do a ton. And of course, it does get stuff like Technician, so Hidden Power moves are going to be extremely boosted from that thing. So stuff like HP Rock is going to just like obliterate Moltres, which would suck, but it's a possibility. Anyways, we're just running Flamethrower, Defog really there just to try and get off a T-Spike, get rid of T-Spike from Roserade if he is packing it, or Stealth Rocks from like Cobalion or something like that. As long as I can minimize chip on my team, I should be able to keep my stuff alive pretty well. We're also running sub Pressure Roost just because in case he doesn't have like Calm Mind Florges, I can sub up on that thing and just stall it out of Moonblast and Toxics, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's our Moltres. Snorlax there. Definitely one of my win cons this week. If I can get Cursed Up, he really is going to struggle against this because Cobalion is really not that strong. And so it's going to take a ton from Earthquake at +1 or +2, especially after a close combat drop. It'll just it has a chance to get OHKO'd after by a +1 Earthquake against -1 Cobalion, and like against this spread, it's doing like 50% with close combat to a +1 Snorlax. So yeah, Snorlax is super good here. Definitely liking this Pokemon a lot in this matchup. Finally, I was debating on this last slot. Had Scarf Heracross, then I switched to a Guts Heracross with Flame Orb. But eventually I just decided, let's go with the Assault Vest Spiritomb with basically just as a Pursuit Trapper, so we can try and get rid of stuff like Gothitelle or Latios if they come. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty standard AV Spiritomb. We just got Pursuit, Sneak, Sucker, and then Thief. I just wanted just to have a dark move that just didn't rely on me. That was stronger than Pursuit, but also didn't rely on me having to predict my opponent to attack. So, yeah, that's our team. Anyways, let us go ahead and get into our game. All right, so here we are. Got my game against Erob, so you can see from the teams, he does end up bringing Gothitelle. He does bring Sableye and Latios as expected. To Blade, definitely considered could come and then prepared for it. Entei was something I was less sure on, and Roserade I was less sure on, but also wasn't really surprised to see the Roserade. Biggest surprise was probably just the Entei for my opponent. Anyways, looking at the leads here, I was really afraid of Scarf Gothitelle lead. Scared of like Scarf HP Steel, just getting rid of my Diancie early game, so I opted not to lead with Diancie, even though that's my usual. And I ended up leading with Meloetta just because it is a pretty good option against something like Sableye. I can get a free Calm Mind off. I'm also going to be able to threaten out stuff like Roserade and Latios to some extent too. Yeah, so in hindsight, I end up kind of regretting this lead. I wish I'd just gone ahead and let off a Spiritomb, because if I really was afraid of Scarf Gothitelle, if I could just Pursuit Trap the Trapper turn 1, that would have been awesome. But I do end up leading off with my Meloetta, as I said, as he does lead the Gothitelle. So the fact that he led Gothitelle pretty much tells me that he is Scarf, because you don't really have any other reason to lead your Trapper unless you're expecting to catch the most common lead for me, which is Diancie. So yeah. Anyways, here, I'm just going to go ahead and throw off a Dazzling Gleam here. The reason I went for Dazzling Gleam is because I could have potentially seen him staying in and possibly going for Trick, or who knows what he would go for. But if he did switch out, this kind of hit everything. If I went for Hyper Voice and he went for Deblade, I didn't get any chip off, so that would have been kind of disappointing. So I figured Dazzling Gleam was just the best all-around play to click turn 1. As he does go out to Entei, we don't see it take too much damage. Doesn't look like Assault Vest. So I'm going to go ahead and go out to Snorlax. I'm rocking up with the Thick Fat, so I'm going to take his hits super well. As he does get the burn, turn 1, but it's 50%, so whatever. I'm going to go ahead and switch out here to Spiritomb. Kind of expecting either Latios or Gothitelle to come out to try and trap my Snorlax. Latios could try and set up on the burned Lax, or Gothitelle could just come in and trick it and pretty much eliminate my Snorlax from play, so I wanted to try and catch either of those with the Spiritomb play. But he does go out to Roserade here, so I figure he's probably going to just go for like a T-Spike or something here, as he does. So I'm going to go out to Moltres, and I'm going to be able to get my Defog off, which is great, as he does bring in Latios here. So now, I know he really can't do that much to my Spiritomb if he's not boosted, so I'm going to go ahead and go out to Spiritomb and try and trap this guy. But he makes a really aggressive double, goes out to Entei predicting the Spiritomb, and gets this guy in. So yeah, that was unfortunate. I'm going to go out to Quag here on the Entei, trying to not make the same play as I did before. But he's going to double switch out into the Roserade to try and get his T-Spike back up. And here he's going to sub, so I was like, oh, that's not good. Figure I should just stay in here, just Flamethrower, but he does win the Speed Tie and connects HP Rock and is going to Oko my Moltres. So yeah, now I knew I was in a really bad position here, because if he gets the T-Spike up, I no longer can remove it, and that's really going to be chipping down my team super fast. So he's going to switch out now. I go for the Calm Mind here, expecting him to switch out. Unfortunately, I'm not rocking the Z Shadow Ball. If I was running Z Shadow Ball here, I could just Oko this to Blade and be in such a good position, but obviously I don't have that option. So yeah, he's going to get off about 50% on me here. I'm just going to go for my Twinkle Tackle. I need to try and weaken this thing down, because really what I'm looking for is possibly, if I can get rid of this guy, my Diancie can go in against him. Yeah, assuming I can somehow get rid of the Gothitelle, then I think my Snorlax can also just win the game if I can get rid of the Sacred Sorting to Blade and get rid of the Trick Pokemon in Gothitelle. If I can get rid of both of those guys, I think Snorlax could actually still just win this game. So I'm going to go out to Quag here, click Earthquake, he goes out to Latios, predict the Energy Ball to come out here, and I'm just going to go Spiritomb, I think. As he goes back to his Blade, I just go for Pursuit to try and make sure this thing can't escape from me anymore. However, he's going to end up being faster than me, and Ironhead flinches, so yeah, that kind of sucks. I do Shadow Sneak here and just get rid of this thing, but at this point, it's not looking really good because I haven't been able to trap the Gothitelle. I'm just going to Sucker Punch here, get off some chip on the Entei, as now I'm going to be able to go out to my Diancie, Mega Evolve, and just click Earth Power. Oh, he goes Roserade here, doesn't want to sack his Entei off. I'm going to Earth Power into Psyshock and just KO this thing. So pick this thing off as the Gothitelle is now going to come out, revealing that it is Scarf HP Steel. So yeah, there goes that. Here I'm going to go out to my Quag, because obviously I know he's locked in HP Steel. I throw off a Toxic here, expecting the switch, because if you went into something like Sableye, if I could Toxic that on the switch, would be absolutely phenomenal. Getting Latios Toxic is also nice. But I'm going to go out to Lax here, so he makes a really nice double into the Goth, and that's going to just end the game, because he's going to be able to trick my Snorlax now. And yeah, now my Snorlax is tricked, and so this is just GG, because I mean, I can't beat Sableye at all anymore with a trick Snorlax. So he's just going to Calm Mind up, Earthquake, and yeah, he's just going to Dark Pulse, recover, Calm Mind, and just Dark Pulses to win. So yeah, definitely a disappointing game. Really good prep on my opponent's part, and he played super aggressively. I think that was probably the biggest factor in this game, is that just based on his replays, I didn't expect him to play as aggressively as he did. But he made some really, really aggressive double switches, and that put him into really phenomenal position to then, one, get the T-Spike up, and then two, just kind of always keeping me pressured and, yeah, just really getting off damage when I was really just in a position where I had to keep switching. So, yeah, definitely was a bit of a bummer, but yeah, so we're going to follow 5-3. I think we're still in 4th place because we had such a high differential coming into this. So even with the 4-0 loss, I think we're still ahead of all the other 5-3s. So we're still sitting at the top of the 4th place. Or on top of the 5-3 ties at 4th place. So still pretty good. Got 4 more weeks in this league before playoffs. So definitely going to just try and bounce back from this, pick up some more wins, and put ourselves in a good playoff position. But definitely a learning experience here. Shadow Tag plus Sableye is so good, because if you can just trap the fairies, which is like what he did here, Sableye is just so hard to kill. So yeah, definitely a much improved team comp from him as a result of his trades mid-season. So yeah, definitely good games to my opponent. I think if we end up playing again in playoffs, definitely going to be keeping in mind that I should probably play a bit more aggressively too. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Bit of a shorter week this week, and I'll be back next week with week 9. Till then, peace.